it's a lovely Saturday. It was meant to be snow. It was meant to be really windy. It's a little bit windy, but not ridiculous like they suggested. And it's that time of year. So January is time to cut out all the rubbishy foliage from my hellebores, so that now they're budding up and starting to flower. It just puts all the energy into the flowers and buds, and it can really get them going. So I'm going to spend a bit of time doing that. I also have plans of edging the lawn because it's actually very mild at the moment. Doesn't look like we're actually going to get the minus temperatures, so I might give it a quick whiz round the edge. It's not urgent, it's just a nicety. Those are my new little rusty chickens that I bought before Christmas. Oh, actually, talking Christmas, I'm on my very new, very comfortable, lovely Neela that I got bought as a present for Christmas. Memory foam garden Neela, it's really nice. Where's it from? Thistlewood. So that's a nice present that I had, and I would recommend it because it's very nice and cushiony. Perfect for the old knees. I'm also on a snowdrop hunt. Come down here because I put loads in last year and the year before. I put some nice ones in the year before from Hillview Gardens in Warwick. I got 3 lovely varieties, and that's one of them, which is just coming up. I was worried I'd lost it. I have lost the double Flora Pleno, unfortunately, around the other side. And then I also, I'm just looking for others that I just had some generic ones. Oh, there they are. Hang on, I'll bring you around slowly. Ooh, I hadn't spotted it yesterday, but there we go. That's just my sort of generic Galanthus nivalis popping up. Thank goodness, because I put loads in. And if you have watched my vlogs before, I've decided that bulbs do seem to like our garden really nicely. We normally have an array of crocus, and actually I can see them, so I'll take a few shots of that for this video, and they are coming up, and it's the first bit of colour that we have. They're really early in January, so I'll show you that in a moment. They do really well. The Schilledoxtra that I put in from a pot that I bought at the WI and split, this side's doing really well, so we've got a lovely chunk of it here. Nice foliage. It won't flower for a few weeks yet, and there's another chunk there, and I did mirror it the other side, but they're not coming through. Then the other thing that's done well are tulips. Daffodils do ridiculously well, as they do in most gardens anyway. Alliums have done well, so I put more of those at the end of last year. I chucked a load of old tulips from some jobs that I'd done in other people's gardens, and they just wanted everything out and fresh, so they got chucked in here and amongst my other borders, and they're starting to come up, which is amazing. So yeah, bulbs do really well in our garden. So on that premise, I put snowdrops in last year and the year before, and thank goodness they are popping and sneaking through. So when I've done my cutback, we'll have a little snowdrop hunt in my garden and just see. Every day I've been going in and telling husband about which new snowdrops coming up, and he's absolutely loving the updates. Not. I think he is now dreaming about snowdrops as much as I am, and not by choice, bless him. Anyway, so let's crack on. Let's get some chopping back of the old hellebores, go on a snowdrop hunt. I've also done a little bit of hacking around my greenhouse area that got a bit messy as well. So yeah, just an odd job day. I'm not here for long. I just wanted to get a few bits done really and get back in the garden. So I just stopped. I'm sort of nearly halfway through. Looking better already, seeing lots of bulbs come up. I need to put some more compost on because you can see those are the ones I chucked on. Literally, I didn't even plant them, but they're sprouting. So I'm going to get some compost and do a bit of a mulch and just protect them as well, because if Mr. Squirrel sees them, they won't be there long. And they've had the protection of the hellebore foliage, so I might have to just whack a bit of compost on there. But anyway, I stopped not to show you how I've done halfway through. Look at these beautiful buds. See, that really opens them up, gives them some air, light. The leaves that are looking a bit scrubby don't need the energy, so taking them off really puts the energy into these beautiful buds that will hopefully look really neat and tidy now that they can have all of the energy. Anyway, I digress. So the reason I stopped was because I had that little patch over there of snowdrops, and after clearing I've just found this little patch of snowdrops. So I'm really happy that I've got 2 lots of the general snowdrops, we'll call them, that I found have come up, as well as one of my nice special ones I bought from Hillview. So I am very excited. Anyway, I'm putting off. I had to stop just to show you. So I've got 2 lots coming up there and 1 behind me. Right, gotta get on. I need to finish this before it gets dark. Now, doesn't that look so much better? Yep, it's still a little bit messy. It is winter, but getting rid of those leaves really shows off the beautiful hellebore blooms that are coming really, really well. And I mentioned earlier that I'd lost a galanthus. It wasn't Flora plena, it's actually Lady Beatrice Stanley, which I'm really gutted about, and you can see the hole. I think we can all guess what might have had to go at that. So I'll leave the label in just in case, by any miracle, it might still come up. Now I've moved all the leaves, but I don't think so looking at that hole. Never mind, at least the others have. But that's looking much better. So you can see those bulbs again that I just chucked on. I'm going to go and grab a bag of compost and just do a gentle tickle over the surface just to cover up the actual bulb, and that will give them a little boost, and it'll also give my hellebores a little boost. I did give them a gentle sprinkle of mulch, but not enough. So now the leaves are out of the way, I can give them a proper good chunk of compost round it about, and that'll give it a nice layer of nutrients for as and when they need them, and for the bulbs as well. Looking a bit tidier. So my next job is to make sure I'm feeding the birds, because obviously during the winter they need a little bit more help, although it hasn't been overly cold so far, but they are still looking for extra bits of nutrients. So I've got my new fancy pants little feeder. I've got an old one as well to fill up. I've only got sunflower seeds at the moment, so that's all I'm going to fill them up with. So my little sunflower seeds, which are high in fat for the birds at this time of the year when they need that extra little bit of insulation and fat for energy to keep them going. So I'm going to top this up. I've just got myself a coffee, and then I'm going to hang it up, and then the birds will hopefully come and flutter and enjoy and get a little extra bit of grub from our garden. Another little job, which is not traditional, let's say, for January, but as we're going into warmer climates these days, I've got things that have started to sprout. It has been milder than the average winter day, so I have started eggshelling anything that has got shoots started shooting, because the snails and slugs in my garden are an actual nightmare. I'm having a clayey soil, it's very wet, they love it, especially when there's lots of growth and things for them to hide under, and plant pots, which I do have a lot of due to my job. So I have started doing that today. I've been collecting eggshells for months, much to everybody else's chagrin in the house, but oh well. It's a good barrier. It doesn't stop, it just prevents, but it does help definitely take the edge off, I've found personally. So there's a few bits that have just started shooting because of the milder days, and I've just given a good eggshell coating around. So not your standard winter job, but if you are having a mild winter or in milder areas of the country or the world and you have a slug problem, then I would definitely recommend putting some slug barriers down if you can, because I've learned from previous years when it has been milder, I've lost things that have started shooting and they don't come back because your slugs eat them. They've shooted earlier, they've started growing early, then you have a bit of winter and they don't recover. So I've learned from my past mistakes, shall we say, or experiences, not mistakes. So yes, I've done that as well today, so another little job done. just round the other side from the hellebores, I have found my other snowdrops, which I think might have travelled ever so slightly. Okay, there's one dotted there, and if you come over the other top of the euchera, there's another two popping through there, and I didn't plant them that randomly, so I think the bulbs may have mysteriously moved because they were at the front. But anyway, I'm glad to see them. So they've popped up there. My skimmia's looking okay, needs a bit of a feed in the spring. And then if I come here, that's my other clump, which I did find earlier in the week. So that's way ahead of all the others, but it's looking lovely. Beautiful blooms. And I've just come further up the garden and I found another clump of my snowdrops I put in. These ones 2 years ago, and they're actually going to flower. Last year they just came up green. This year they're flowering. Can't wait. It's a nice big clump as well, that one. It's done really well. Okay, so whilst we're still hunting for snowdrops in my own garden, here's another one that I bought from the Hillview Gardens at Warwick 2 years ago. Galanthus Bill Bishop. It's a nice big flower head, and again I thought I'd lost it, but if I come down, excuse the noise, rustling, there Bill is coming up. So it's only small, and there's actually got another bit of growth there. It was just that sort of one last year. This is the second one, so that's good. Sorry about the scrunching, I'm against the Verbena bonariensis. It's probably scratching on the speaker. But anyway, I'm very excited. So Bill Bishop has joined us, which is amazing. And I've just found another clump. I put a load in next to the Lovelies that I've got here, and it's all underneath the crocosmia, which I really need to cut back because it's actually, there's loads of bulbs coming up. I did leave them in because I think they've given a bit of protection to the daffodils and things that I've put in, and daffodils that I've put in, including my little snowdrops. Again, these are 2 years old, didn't do anything last year. But I think with that bit of protection and at the year settling in, it's really paid off. So they are flowering. So they were under here. I'm just going to leave that as is, I think, for the minute. I might just slightly move. Now they're coming into flower, actually. No, I'm going to move that aside, give it a snip back and make room. And also my Lovelies probably won't be long before it starts thinking about flowering. If it's a mild winter, it will flower sort of late winter, early spring. So I shall, and it flowers throughout the whole year. It's a great plant, Lovelies. Fantastic for a bit of shade, really hardy, tough, easy peasy, a bit like a grape hyacinth, not as colourful, quite subtle, but it's really quite a pretty plant, especially for shady and tough areas, which this is when you've got a big clump of crocosmia that keeps taking over. But I do love the crocosmia, so there you go. So that's done well, and my snowdrop clump, another one found, doing well under it as well. We're doing well on the snowdrop hunt so far, apart from one. I think we're just -1 at the moment. And I've just come further up. Now this is an absolute mess, part of the garden, because I'm keeping a lot of my plants from my talks up here because I didn't want to venture right out when it was quite horrific before Christmas. So I'm not going to show you well, I could show you it because it's honesty at the end of the day, but I've just snuck through into the border where the plant's blocking, and I found another snowdrop that I put in. So there's two coming up. 2 flowers coming up, but yeah, it's nice to see that coming up. I've got another couple of clumps somewhere in here, but because it's a bit messy with my stock and the grass and everything, here you go. Here's the view of my talk stock that I haven't tidied up yet, just abandoned before Christmas. Anyway, somewhere in there should be some more snowdrops. Right at the very end, I think I put them. Anyway, so that needs a tidy. Not today, I haven't got time, but I think during the week, if I can nip out for an hour in between busyness, then I might be able to clear that up a bit and hopefully see the other ones. But anyway, I'm glad again just to see another one poking its way through. And I put a heavy lot of mulch on here in the autumn because I've got a lot of new plants in here that I put in the autumn. So I did a heavier mulch, which means they got a bit more bit more to get through, but nice healthy composty mulch. So yes, good to see another one. I think that'll probably be it for our snowdrop hunting today. I'm just going to go and clear the end of my border, and then I think I'm done for the day. But let's go and see if we can just do a bit more clearing before we finish. Another job that I've just decided to quickly add in for the day is I'm topping up my lovely parrot tulips, the Rococo, which is an absolutely beautiful one, and I will put a few shots in after I've just chatted about this, because they look stunning and I've had them for the last 2, maybe 3 years, but they do need topping up. They don't tend to last more than 1 season. I have got one little cluster there, one under the campanule at the front, just starting to come up. I think there's an odd couple that I found whilst I've started dibbing around, but they tend to not do brilliantly well sort of for a 2nd or 3rd year. I do top up as well with lots of mycorrhizal and things like that, and mulch every year, but because it's quite a shallow container, it's also metal, it's very cold, and the drainage isn't the best, then they just don't last very well. So I do tend to top them up. Now I'm really late planting my bulbs, and I just found that I had 4 packs left out of what I got left to put in. I got some white ones throughout the front as well, but 4 packs of these Rococo left. So I'm going to pop these in just to top it up, and they'll still come up. They'll just be a bit late coming, and they should still flower this year as well. And I have got a couple coming up already from last year, so I'm just doing a quick top up of that as well whilst I'm outside and the weather is still holding out. So this is kind of the last job I wanted to do today, move my plants. Again, these are left over from various jobs I've had on and talks. They're just perennial, they need a bit of TLC. There's a couple of vases, they all need a top dress, so I'll get that done in the next couple of weeks. However, they are taking up valuable space in my veg plot, and again, they've just been plonked because I was being lazy and didn't take them right down the bottom where I store everything normally. So I'm going to take those out and top them up with some more compost, and then hopefully I'm going to put garlic in, which I'm extremely late planting, but as with any bulb, you usually have till sort of January to really get away with it, and I'll just be harvesting it later. So that's my plan. I get these out, get the compost in, and then it's ready to pop the garlic in either today or Monday, and then that is looking like a good afternoon of gardening to me, especially for the winter. So here's this bit topped up, and the plants, trays of plants away, topped up a little bit around my chives. I need to go a bit further on actually. I did do it in the autumn, but it's sunk as expected, so I need to top that up. Thyme in my strawberry pot's doing well, but it is a bit sad other than that. So this looks much better. It hasn't looked this good for 3 years, I have to say. So that's ready for my garlic to go in. And I've actually planted a wisteria that's been sat in a pot probably for 3, maybe even 4 years. I've left the trellis on at the moment, but I will snip it out and then get wires, and I've put it slightly on a slant to encourage it to the post, so I need to get some wires sorted out and a better better, not trellis, but a way of pulling it over to, it is a bit far, I know, but it will go, it will get there with a bit of help. So now it's out the pot, it should have a nice growth spurt on this year. So that's planted right in the corner. Again, if you want to be a traditionalist, it probably should be much further away from the side, but it's not all about traditional garden methods, is it? So right on the corner, slight angle, and then I need to pull it in with some wires and ties, etc. So when it starts growing, we're going to encourage it to go up. And then, yeah, my garlic's going to go in here, but it's just about to start chucking it down. So I'm glad that I've at least done this. And I'll just go and show you the mulch that I've put around the hellebores. So I've just literally put a bag of compost on here. It needs a lot more, especially around the other side, but there's more weeding to be done. So ideally I need to come out in a break in the rain, because there's some awful, oh, I can't remember what it's called now. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen. If not, I'm sure I've talked about it in many vlogs before, but I've got this horrible stuff that is so viney and spready, and the roots go really deep. However, when it's a bit damp, they're so easy to pull out. It's really satisfying. So I'm leaving this bit to do that another day once we've had some more rain and I've got a dry spell in between to pull them out. So, but for the moment, this bit looks much better. And a nice bit of extra feed with compost. And the hellebores. Oh, my chickens look really good as well. My silly little chickens, I love them. Yeah, they're looking nice. So it's just starting to get dark. It's going to throw it down any minute. Just wanted to quickly show you my garlic. I've got Gakua, which is meant to be quite a nice strong garlic, nice, fairly big, medium sized to big rounds. You can't really see because I've put them all in now in little rows. And then I've also got some elephant garlic, which is meant to be mahusive, so I'm very excited about that, and also meant to have a nice pretty pink. And I have actually put some a bit further down the garden as well. Let's have a little wander. My strawberries looking okay. My celery's a bit scruffy, but it's holding out considering we've had a couple of frosts. If I come down, I've got more bulbs there. Look, actually I've got some Triumph Red as well to find a home for that I've just found. I got some garlic that I left in by accident last year. It's sprouting. And yes, here we go, where these twigs are. So I've put in some more of the Gakua garlic in here just to split it up, because I like to use the garlic as a bit of a companion plant. Because when late April, May, I start sowing things like spinach and lettuce and things like that that don't tend to mind the early sowings. So it's just nice to have those in to try and prevent any little bugs from coming along. Also good for in between carrots as well, which I don't have great success with carrots actually. So I try to do it to stop the carrot fly, but it never works. Anyway, so there we go, that's my garlic in, and I've managed to do that as well as some lovely bulb planting on top of the other jobs. So not bad for a lovely January weekend of sort of late wintry jobs to get done in between showers, snow, frost. There's still a few bits and bobs you can do to keep yourself going if you like to get outside and get into the nature. My little snowdrops coming at the front, and my daffodils. Oh, the sign of better things to come in the garden. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's a quick one today, and I'm so glad you could join me. I might just tap on to the end of this video actually, or I might have already done it before I get to this bit. I'm going to include the garlic, so I might wedge it in before this end piece, even though I'm going to do it on a different day, and then that will complete this lovely January gardening to-do jobs in January vlog, or what I'm doing in my garden at least, or starting to. So anyway, it's a good way to kick off the season. We've tidied the hellebores, we've done some snowdrop spotting in my garden, we've done some mulching, a little bit of weeding, we've tidied up the end border over there, got rid of some plants, planted a wisteria, topped that up, did a bit of weeding, done a bit of cutting back. So, and I fed the birds, which are really important, and then hopefully I would have put the garlic in. I've inserted that clip of videos into this video too. So that's it for today, and I hope you're having a lovely January and making the most of, we're getting slightly longer days, so it's all good. Keep on gardening, people, and I will see you in the next one.